I get rusty after only
Mic
one
is
day
live.
out.
One day out.
I got a live mic.
Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Back in the saddle again, so to speak. Although I say saddle, but we do the show standing up. So
We do.
There's not really a saddle back here. And when I say back here, we've got a studio in our offices, and we've got a producer at the radio station. So some people say, well, you do a podcast, right? I mean, who does radio anymore? I'm like, we do. We do like a real radio show. It's on AM 1110 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday. It's rare that it's not a live show. So today is Wednesday, February, first week of February.
6th, yeah.
The 6th, yeah. Today's the 6th. So today's live show, and I actually had we filed a lawsuit, a trespass to try title and a quiet title lawsuit. So we filed it back in like June or July of 2016. And I don't know if you know, the courts are a little bit backed up right now.
Slightly.
And part of that is because due to Harvey, the criminal courthouse flooded.
Yes.
So a lot of the courtrooms are doing double duty. And in fact, we actually, our trial started at 9, and then we took a break for lunch. And so the same courtroom that we were in from 9 until lunchtime was not the courtroom we were able to use.
Oh, they had to switch
Yeah,
you.
they
Wow.
had to switch because somebody else. So they're playing musical
Yeah,
courtrooms
so
right
I've
there.
got a couple friends that are civil judges.
Yep.
And a lot of that's the same for them. It's like they went from working, 40 to 60-hour weeks to 20 to 30 because they don't know when they're going to have a courtroom to try their cases.
Right.
And they're backlogged, for the next 18 months as it is, and it's just getting worse.
Yes.
So,
Well, the good news is they've gotten a lot of the criminal stuff is in a temporary building or something like that. So that's not as bad anymore.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'm not fully back yet. I don't feel like there's been a lot of things happening. Good things happening business wise.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got lots of deals that are happening, and what I'm seeing is oh wow. So just reading a message on Facebook. I need to get focused here. So sorry, I feel like squirrel. Okay, here we go. All right. So So the title of the show today is real estate, simple versus easy.
Okay.
Real estate is a very, very simple business.
it is.
But there's a lot of simple businesses that aren't necessarily easy. Cooking food is simple, but running a restaurant is not necessarily easy. Because
Correct.
I know you have a background in the restaurant business.
I do.
And so it's really easy. How many people know how to cook? Lots of people.
Lots of people.
And so oftentimes some people can cook well.
Yes.
And so oftentimes they're like, I can cook well. I like cooking. And let's start a restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, cooking food and running a restaurant,
Two totally different things.
they're not the same skill sets.
Two totally
That's
different
just one facet of it.
It's very rare you find a truly artistic chef.
Yes.
With the ability, I've met a few.
Yeah. They can run a business.
That can run a business
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
And typically they're going to be partnered up with somebody that is handling more of the business side of stuff.
Correct.
Right.
That's a business that really requires a partnership.
It does.
Yeah. Somebody to run the business, somebody to run the food. And it reminds me a little bit of like an artist,
Yes.
that if they say that the thing about starving artists, right? And so how often as an artist, somebody that's really focused, that kind of like that side of the brain that's so artistic.
It's just two different personalities.
It is.
To find both of those skill sets in the same person.
Yes.
Is like finding a really short, tall guy. Like it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You're either short or you're tall.
You're one or the other.
Right.
Exactly.
And by no choice of the person. Right.
Exactly.
Right. I've never really worried about my height because it is what it is. I focus on the things that I have control over. And so that's the thing. When you look at real estate, it's really, really easy to say, okay, I want to flip a house. You want to flip 10 houses this year. Want to flip, average house, $175,000. And you can do on math, you can say, well, I want to make about $30,000 per flip. Want to do 10 of those, make $300,000 flipping houses really, really easy.
On paper, it sounds easy.
It sounds simple. It sounds really, really simple to do that on paper. However, when you start recognizing that okay, is that a good price range to to flip in. And it would also be easy to say, oh, you want to open up a burger shop, sell 1 million burgers, make a dollar per burger, make $1 million, right?
Absolutely.
On paper, that's really, really easy to do. So when you're building a pro forma, and here's where a lot of people fail right off the bat, is they don't actually they want to flip a house but don't look at it like a business.
Yes.
And so then therefore don't ever put the numbers in on the front side in order to recognize what their costs are. And then how often do people go back and adjust their pre-start of the business pro forma versus the actual numbers on the pro forma?
Exactly.
And what I can tell you is you can never mathematically model. I'd love to see what Amazon's, startup pro forma was for their business, or some of these other companies, and find out what does Jeff, Bezos know about running that business now that he didn't know before,
Absolutely.
and what are the metrics that he was concerned about when he first started the business versus the metrics that he's worried
I'm willing
about
to
now.
bet they're not even the ones he started keeping track of when he first started. Probably aren't even on his radar anymore.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
So what are the metrics that you really need to keep track of if you're flipping a house versus if you want to keep a house for buy and hold versus you want to wholesale houses? Now, one of the mistakes that I see a lot of investors make, and what I'll say is real estate is simple. The math of real estate is very, very simple.
The math and typically the process.
It's the people that sometimes make it
people
challenging.
that make it difficult.
And, we recently had a property under contract to sell. And it was a cash offer, no contingencies, no inspections, no option period, all of that. And now the buyer wants to back out on the deal.
Yes.
And so the real estate portion of the transaction, easy breezy, easy house, made an offer, had plenty of opportunity to inspect before they make the offer.
Yep.
We negotiated, all those kind of things. And then lo and behold, the buyer wants to back out. It's the people that can make it challenging.
Yes.
And so it's how do you respond to those situations, when they come up. And so if you want to just learn the math is simple. It's on a flip. It's what am I going to sell the property for? And there's a lot of nuances that go into that.
Yeah.
It's what's the property worth when it's finished, and do I want to be optimistic or do I want to be conservative? And what I'd say is, if you want to build it as a business, be conservative. Right. So take into consideration all the things that affect the value of the property on the front end, like is it on the corner of a busy street, or is it back up to commercial, or is there high tension power lines? Do those properties sell? Yeah, absolutely, every day, all the time.
Yes.
But do they sell at the same price as a premium lot? I got a notice on an email just recently. In fact, I think it was a Facebook ad. Saw a Facebook ad, and there's some new townhouses being built not too far from here. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really sure if they're like patio homes or townhouses.
Okay.
I think it wasn't really clear. But I noticed it's pre-development, right?
Yes.
So they're selling out lots, and when the development, there's total of 53 lots.
Okay.
And you start noticing, okay, so some of the lots are closer to the street.
Yeah.
Some of the lots back up to a retention pond. Some of the lots are slightly bigger. So, there's premiums on certain, not all lots are created equal from the development stage.
Exactly.
So then that means that not all lots in a subdivision are created equal. So it's not just, hey, it's 2,200 square foot, this house versus another 2,200 square foot house. So when they're all built brand new, they don't start out equal, right?
Agreed.
And so you have to take that into consideration. That's the difference between like what we teach, a predictive future value, versus what everybody else teaches, which is an after repair value. After repair value is something that lenders use. So the simple part of real estate is determine what the property is worth when you're finished with it. Then subtract out what are my selling costs. And here's where some people get a little bit funny with the math. Treating it as a business versus treating it as a
Absolutely.
hobby is calculating all the costs. So maybe you have a special deal with a flat listing broker and that they charge 1%, for example.
Yeah, there's some that you can do for $7 a day.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
But let's
you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Right. We tell the story in our 2-day Wealth Through Real Estate Academy. We do that once a month, and one of the stories that we talk about is one of the very first properties that we ever listed in Houston House Buyers for sale. I was a real estate agent. I thought the property was worth about $180,000. That's the value that we bought it off of. And thank goodness we recognized very early on that we wanted to hire people that were better at doing a particular job than we were.
Absolutely.
we always wanted to hire up, as we say. You can't be a 10 at everything. So the things that we weren't going to do in-house, we wanted to outsource to people that are 10s at that.
Yeah.
So sure enough, we got this this agent that knew the marketplace really, really well, knew the area. She was an expert in that area. And she said, no, I think you should list the property like 214. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so far outside of what I thought it was worth. I mean, like 180 to 190, that's 10,000 to 200 is 20.
Yeah, so you were off by about 35 grand,
about
right?
34 grand. And it turns out it actually, and not only was she right on the price, she was so right on the price, because when it's priced right and it's the right product in the right market, it sells quickly.
Really quick.
And sure enough, we had multiple full price offers in 72 hours.
We see so many people, even we try to open their mind to the difference between that, but it's when you see people do it themselves.
Yeah, sure.
And then you go back and do the math and they realize that they saved 3%,
sure, right.
but they spent way more than that.
Yeah, 3% of $200,000 is like $6,000.
Yes.
So I would have saved like $6,000 if I'd have listed myself, but I probably would have listed it at 180, and it would have sold really fast. We may have sold in 24 hours instead of 72.
Yeah, but you'd have been down $28,000.
37.4. Yeah, 37.4.
Wow.
So and then and what's surprising about that is we did make in excess of $50,000 on a 210 price point, which is extremely rare.
Yes.
Part of that is we bought the property at 73.4 and had a $44,000 rehab. So part of it was the condition, part of it was the direct marketing that we did and things like that. So
you were also conservative on your numbers.
Very conservative from the very beginning. And so you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Hope you'll stay with us. There's not another living soul.
What's going on, Parker? Good morning, Nora. Maribel. Chris, what's up? Gabriel, Sabrina.
Deal like that.
Abdi.
That's kind of weird that it shows like that now, isn't it? Is that?
It is a little weird, but that's just because there's no comments or anything in between.
Okay. Investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you.
Juan, good morning.
Leading real estate risk management experts.
Andy, Raymond, good morning.
Insurance Group of Texas. 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will
Y'all do us a favor and give us some likes, some loves, and some shares, please.
Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call
One of our students locked up a deal yesterday, and Maribel helped them.
Oh, nice.
Get their memorandum and all that filed.
Perfect. Yeah, awesome.
Pointed out some things they were doing wrong on their contract.
Great.
Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting.
It's nice when you've got a team of 10s because
we'll see you there.
I wouldn't be able to help in that area too much.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I know about it, but I certainly...
I can give you the basics of the contract, but the I's and the T's.
Yeah, hold on a second, I'll be right back.
Due to our expansive soils in the Houston area, it's probably not a question of if you have movement, but when. Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009 and has completed over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in the business of repairing foundations or selling you unnecessary peer work, but we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each of our files is reviewed by a licensed engineer. Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825. That's 346-702-3825. Or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com. That's foundationcheck.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at
10 seconds.
832-742-9992. Again, that's
Huh?
832-742-9992.
clock
Or reach
now.
us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mike's hot.
Hey, welcome back, Right Path Real Estate Radio. We want to really teach practical real estate investing at Right Path so that you can actually accomplish what you can dream and put down on paper. You can actually execute it so that you can have the life that you want. And what frustrates me is the people that try and figure it out on their own.
Yes.
And that is such a long way around.
It's a long journey. It can be done, but man, is it a long journey.
You know, I will say this. I didn't figure out everything on my own.
You can't.
No,
that's impossible.
Right.
But can you through trial and error and making the mistakes learn some of the major lessons in this business? Absolutely. But it's so much faster.
Yeah. So
to learn from people that have done it before you.
I tell you what I did is one of the areas that I learned a lot was when I was a vendor for another real estate education group.
Yeah.
And I saw what was being taught. And I realized that the people teaching weren't actually out in the field doing what they were teaching.
Yeah.
And so I was actually walking properties with investors, and I would see the thought process that was going on. And I really recognized that the thinking that they had and some of the assumptions that people make were leading to bad decisions that led to bad actions that led to bad results. And what I realized is that people, if they thought differently about how they were doing their analysis.
Yeah.
And some of the assumptions that people made, I mean, I would watch people, just give you an example. I would watch people look at a particular deal and first off try and solve whether it was a deal or not based on, they knew what they could buy it for.
Yeah.
They knew what it was worth when it was fixed up. So they were trying to solve for what the construction number was.
Yeah.
So they would go to me and a bunch of other contractors because I was never, giving an estimate in a vacuum, right? I mean, there's always competitors, right?
Of course.
And one of the things that I recognize in competition, there's 3 ways to compete in any business. There's quality, service, and price.
Okay.
And any business can pick 2 of those at the expense of a third.
Yeah.
Because, one of the concepts of business is I can't be the best at all 3 of those.
Yeah.
If I can't have the best quality costs more money.
Absolutely.
So how are you the highest quality and lowest cost and provide the best service? Because providing great service.
Well, that costs money as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So if someone's willing to sacrifice service, for example, they can have quality and lowest price at the expense of service, or they can have good service and low price at the expense of quality. They can have high quality and high service at the expense of price, right? I mean, so you can pick 2. Somebody else can come along and beat you on another one of those.
Yeah.
Right. So when I started Fast Track, one of the things that we decided on very early on is we wanted to have best quality, lowest price at the expense of service.
Yes.
A lot of people think we had highest quality, highest service at the expense of price because they say some other people come along and can be lower price. Well, yes, they can if they're willing to lose money.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
They can't be lowest price long term.
They cannot, right. So the trouble is that you can have someone that will work on an hourly basis that's not a business, that doesn't run it like a business, things like that. So business competing against business, we were the lowest price.
Absolutely.
But business competing against an employee, we weren't lowest price. I mean, obviously, our employees could do things cheaper than what we could charge as a business.
Yeah, because there's no overhead and all the other stuff that goes along with running a business.
Correct.
Marketing and all the other stuff, right?
Correct. That's exactly right. So, that being said, so I learned a lot about what the thought process was with these investors. And one of the things that I learned was that they would say, hey, if it's a $20,000 rehab, I've got me a deal.
Yeah.
And I recognized that what that led to, the result of that thinking was they would tell people, hey, if it's a $20,000 deal, and some of the other contractors, I use that term loosely because sometimes it wasn't actually a business. It was like a handyman.
Chuck in a truck. One truck.
Yeah, right. A truck in a truck, right. That they would say, yeah, sure, we can do that for 20,000. And because they didn't really know their numbers as a business, then that would lead to a bad situation.
Yeah.
Either A, the job got started and didn't finish on budget, or it didn't finish on time, or it didn't finish at all.
Yeah.
Right? So that was one thing.
And one of the things we teach in our Wealth Through Real Estate Academy
Yeah.
is the difference between markup and margin.
Yes,
Right?
right.
And that's not really a radio subject,
Correct.
but
There's a lot of math.
knowing that the people that are running these contracting businesses don't even know the difference between those two.
Correct.
No wonder they get themselves in
Correct.
trouble.
Absolutely.
But as the investor, if that's the X you're solving for, you're going to believe whoever tells you they can do it for that 20 grand, even though it's not a $20,000 job.
Correct. And this is another area where we're talking about where real estate is simple.
Yes.
And it's the people that make it not so
Yes.
easy, right? And so if you're dealing with someone, and we want to trust people, right? And like
Yeah.
if he tells me he can do it, by golly, I mean, and so many times I would see, the investor would say, "Hey, Tom, we've chosen to not use Fast Track. We've chosen to use this other guy." I'm like, "Okay, do you mind sharing with me what he's charging?"
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that I could hire that guy to do my jobs, and it's less than what I'm paying labor and materials. And we were buying about the cheapest you could buy from
Yeah.
Home Depot, and we were also buying. In fact, one time, I got in this discussion with a guy at a hedge fund because we were buying about $1 million a year worth of materials from one store in Home Depot.
Okay.
And this hedge fund, because they were in multiple, like 20 different markets across the country, buying, in Houston, they were buying 40 houses at auction a month.
Okay.
And Dallas doing about the same.
Yeah.
And in doing that in other markets, Atlanta and other places. So they were spending about $5 million a year at Home Depot.
Wow.
So they were just convinced that they were buying materials cheaper. So they wanted to provide the materials, have me just do the labor. And I hey, what are you paying for ceiling fans? What are you paying for faucets? And I
Yeah.
looked at, and I was actually buying cheaper than them.
Wow.
Yeah, because all of my volume was going through one store.
store.
They were spreading theirs among like 20 different stores.
Yeah. So you were able to work certain deals at that store
Right.
because each store at Home Depot
Runs their own
runs their
P&L.
own P&L, yeah.
Right, the general managers, and a lot of people don't realize that not all stores stock the same things. Not all stores, because there's market differences, right?
And so you hear all the time, I had a bad contractor on that deal, right? And it's you hear it every day in this business.
Correct.
And I'll even argue that the investors are creating bad contractors.
Correct.
Because they're allowing somebody to come in on a deal that they know that as much as they want to believe it,
Yes.
if they go to qualified people and get the real answers, they know that guy really is not going to be able to perform.
Correct.
But the problem is they're saying, I don't care if that guy makes money or not.
Right.
Right.
They don't care. Right.
They don't care if
Right.
their contractor makes money or not. They're willing to let that guy starve.
So guess what? If you don't care if your contractor's making money, then they also don't care if your job gets finished.
Absolutely.
Right, because
at the end of the day, they've got to feed their family.
Because if you don't care if they're making money or not, then they're not making money.
Yes.
Right? And so, therefore, they do not have the money to finish the job if they underbid it.
Yep.
And so that leaves you in a very precarious situation. Now, I've learned that there's a difference in mentality. When people go through life with an abundance mentality, like there's more than enough for everyone to have what they need, right? That the universe has more than enough.
Yes.
It's just a matter of whether or not, how are you going to treat other people? And I've given the example before of one time that I had a landscape guy.
Yeah.
And he was going to go out and look at a particular project with me. Now, for a lot of people, and again, this is where it's simple versus easy. It was simple for me to call up a landscaper that I already knew and have him go out and look at the job. Now,
Yeah.
if you're first getting started, you may not have a relationship with landscapers, so you can either create your own new or you can leverage the relationships of other people.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, went out. I didn't actually go out to the house to meet with the landscaper.
You didn't spend 3 hours that day to drive out there?
But I know a lot of investors that would do that. As an
Absolutely.
investor, they would go out, walk the house, say, "Hey, I want a flower bed here. I want some wax leaf ligustrums. I want some penta." I mean, I'm making up these names. I've heard them. I don't know really what these plants are.
You couldn't draw them for me.
No, definitely could not draw them. I remember actually installing wax leaf ligustrums with my father-in-law about 20-something years ago.
Okay.
Worst day in July of my entire life. Yeah.
Because we all know, the people that know you
Jeez.
personally know you love yard work.
No, I can. Well, yeah, that's a man. That was 7 hours of hard. Yeah. Anyhow, so that was a flashback just now.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
that was painful. So I do know what a wax leaf ligustrum is, but I didn't go out and explain to the landscaper what he needs to do. I'm trusting that the landscaper knows his business,
He's done it before.
All I'm basically saying is, and I want to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, I want this done. Go do it.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother yesterday, and it's like I've got this rental property, and the tenant would like to have window coverings, and they're planning on being there 5 years. Now, whether they are or not, I don't know. But my brother gave me a quote, and it's like I don't want to drive out there. It's like how many windows? I got another quote from someone else, and the quote was like $1,100. And I'm like, well, for how many windows is that? And I'm like, I don't. Nobody knew how many. I'm like, I don't know if it's a good deal or not because you're not giving me enough information to make a decision.
Yeah.
And so, and the decision is not always to go with the cheapest, right?
Absolutely.
So what I find is I go through life with a particular philosophy, and it's not about that, hey, I've got to squeeze every nickel. It's my philosophy is I want to build relationships with people as I go. I want to have a relationship with people where it's a win for me and, more importantly, a win for them.
Absolutely.
I have this philosophy like Zig Ziglar had. You help enough other people have what they need in life and what they want in life, and yours is an automatic. You don't even have to worry about it. And if we adopt that kind of philosophy, then it's amazing how things start turning around. So with this landscaper, I called him up and said, hey, I want you to go out the house, take a look at it. I need this house to be retail ready from a landscaping standpoint. I want it to have really nice curb appeal. And by the way, curb appeal is going to be different on a $200,000 house versus, let's say, a $450,000 house, right? So I need to tell him what the price range is of the neighborhood, right? Yeah. So it'll be price appropriate.
One minute.
I told him that. And he called me back the next day after he'd gone out and looked at the house. And again, this is just all done by phone, managing it by phone. And he said, hey, Tom, I think it needs all this stuff. I'm like, so great. What's the number? And he goes, it's $1,100. And he goes, what do you think about that price?
You counted them at 9.
And most people would say, well, oh, come on. Is there any way you can do it cheaper? And I said, that sounds too low. And true story, he said, well, how does $1 million sound? And I said, well, I think the pendulum has swung a little too far the other.
Because I'm going to tell you why he did that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's ever done that to him before.
Right.
So his automatic reaction is to make a joke.
Yeah, right.
Because it's a little bit uncomfortable for him never having faced that situation.
Yeah. So he said, well, how does $1,500 sound? And I said, sounds amazing. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And so we want to talk about on the other side of the break is how did that build a relationship with someone going forward where it's a win-win? And what did that $400, did it cost me money or make me money? You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. I'll be back in 4 minutes. Please join. Morning, Ma.
Good morning, Tom's mom.
Do you have cracks in your brick?
Andrew, what's up, buddy?
Stick or sheetrock that's coming apart? Then you may have foundation movement. Due to our expansive soils in the Houston area, it's probably not a question of if you have movement, but when. Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation.
We've got a closing
Foundation
today.
Check has been in business since 2009 and has
Buying or
completed
selling?
over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in the business of repairing foundations or selling you unnecessary peer work.
Yeah,
and I know I'm
Street.
supposed to go with Nikki and
our product is designed for
look
house
at a
flippers,
property.
landlords, or even owner-occupied
I
properties.
think she and I are supposed to go look
Each of our
at 2
files
today.
is reviewed by a licensed
One at 1:30
engineer.
and one at
Remember to
3:30.
check
Nice.
before every repair. Call 346-702-3825.
She's doing so well.
Yeah.
That's 346-702-3825.
She seems to be enjoying it as well. John, good morning,
Or
brother.
You can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
Morning, John. Hey, the guy that we interviewed last week, we need to follow up with him.
I was thinking about that this morning.
Okay.
So how do you want me to handle that part?
Yeah, if you want to call him up and just say, hey, we want to take it to the next step.
All right.
Purchase properties
I
quickly
wanna do that.
with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas. valued at
Was he,
over
I don't know.
Was
if
I
it
yawning?
It was probably me.
Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for
Jason, I'm about 5.5 hours into my day, buddy.
Yeah.
repairs and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors.
Yeah, you're one. I don't, man.
Call 281.
I have to say, I have to get at least about 7 hours of sleep every day
Yeah.
to run the what I'll call the intellectual pace of energy that like mine's not physical energy throughout the day. It's the mental energy that. And if I get less than about 7 hours,
Good morning, Angela.
Time is money.
I'd love to get 7 hours.
Yeah.
If I can. I mean, it just doesn't always.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't
You
always
lose a
work out.
deal
Right.
Like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders. The agency for that is
Any
Benchmark
any possibility of
Insurance.
moving closer?
The team at Benchmark. understands the
We're
amount of
actually,
binders. They know what you need and when you need it.
because we were in a rental for a year,
Are you a
so
rehabber,
we've been
wholesaler, buy
discussing
and hold, or
some of the
flipper?
neighborhoods between
Bundling
290 and
properties on a
I-10
single
Yeah.
policy will help save time
off
and
the
money.
Grand Parkway.
Yeah.
So
Benchmark has been in business for over 10
we've already got
years.
our realtor looking
We
over
insure
there.
30,000
We
properties.
were looking in the
Contact
Bridgeland
Benchmark
area
by
as
our
well, but
exclusive
man, the
investor
taxes there are
Where's Bridgeland?
ridiculous.
Let us show you
Bridgeland is,
at 281
so if you go
569
north,
That's
no, I guess that's
281
east,
569
no,
4353.
north on
Yeah.
Grand
Or
Parkway.
online
Yeah.
at
There's a
benchmarkbroker.com. That's Benchmark
really big
Broker.
development of
That's
neighborhoods out there called
That's
Ellison.
281
And then right past that,
569
before you get to
or
Cypress, is
online
Bridgeland.
at
Okay.
benchmarkbroker.com.
And it's probably, I mean, it's got to be 3,000 or 4,000 homes.
Wow.
Are you
E-
looking for an
outside the
investment
Grand
friendly
Parkway
general
and inside the
contractor
Grand
for
Parkway.
your
Still part of the
investment
Cy-Fair
property?
district.
Then call
But
Fast Track
their
Remodeling
taxes
at
are almost
832
4%.
742
And I did the math on that. I was
or
like,
reach
yeah,
us on
no,
the
we won't
web
be
Must be a
living in.
different school district, Spring Branch School District.
No, Cy-Fair.
Oh,
Fast
got
Track
it.
Remodeling specializes in turnkey
But,
remodeling
I was
of
like, yeah,
single-family
I-
investment properties.
when-
whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab,
when you're
they manage every
yeah,
aspect
it just
of a
it doesn't
rehab
make
from
sense
start
to me at
finish
all.
with a
So
highly efficient,
we're looking at some areas
standardized
kind of on the
Over
outskirts
the
of
last
that.
6
and,
years, Fast Track has
if I could
completed
cut
over
40 minutes off the
700
commute,
projects,
That would be swell.
which has
Yeah.
helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so
Angela,
that
good morning.
everything gets done. Train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right. And complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does.
I love our
manage it all.
neighborhood, man.
So give us
Yes.
a call today at
10 seconds.
People there in such a bubble.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We heard some gunshots the other night. Nobody knew where they came from.
Yeah.
One lady goes, "This place used to be so safe. Now I feel like we live in Acres Homes."
Oh, jeez.
1110.
It's like you have no idea what you're talking about.
That's funny.
Mike's on.
Mics are on. Hey, welcome. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817 if you want to give us a call. Or you can join us on the Book of Faces at facebook.com or fb.com. Those are the same thing.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
And then just, you can get directly to us. Put a /, right? That's, I always get confused. Yeah, that's the one with the question mark. So / Right Path, RIGHTPATH Real Estate. And so just fb.com / Right Path Real Estate. It'll take you directly to our Facebook page. Scroll down, and the very first feed on there. First off, like the page, and then you get a notification every day
Yes.
when we go live. And then just click on it. You'll see the video. You'll see Daniel and I standing. I'm in a light blue shirt today. You're in a Right Path black.
Right Path
with, black with the green logo.
Little green logo.
Yeah, woohoo! And then you can watch us, and you can hear us during the breaks as well, or you can continue listening on AM 1110. So there you go. So we're talking about building relationships.
We were.
You know what I recognize is that as you're going through life, you have an opportunity to be memorable or not.
Yes.
And, I remember talking to this guy one time at one of the real estate events. There's lots and lots of, free food, networking events, lots of people that go that don't do any real estate or anything.
Absolutely.
But there's plenty of those that happen in Houston, right? If there's food involved, what you can tell is there's going to be a plethora of people that don't do real estate and a few people that do. Yeah. So free food brings those folks out.
How do you fill the room up at your meetup?
Yeah.
Just
Free
give
food?
something away.
Yeah, free food, right. So, flipping houses is my dream. Well, quit dreaming, man. Wake up. Let's do it. We'll teach you how, Adrian. So it's easy. In fact, we tell people it's not easy. It's very simple.
It's
right?
very simple.
Yeah, it's very simple to do.
Adrian, if you're looking to get started tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock tomorrow.
We have an event. It's our Wealth Through Real Estate Workshop. Tom will be teaching on how to get started in real estate for an hour.
Yeah.
So if you like the show, imagine what it's like off the air, getting the real nuts and bolts of the math, and really gets deep into the numbers in this business and how to build your dreams.
Yeah.
Through real estate.
So the question is like this particular guy I was talking about. I won't name the other group that I was at, but I had a table there, and guy walked by, and one of the things that we teach people how to flip, we teach people how to buy and hold, and we teach people how to wholesale. And our favorite for building long-term wealth and income is buy and hold.
Yes.
Now the other will create short-term income, but the other creates long-term wealth and
Yes.
income. Okay, so and we get into that at our Wealth Through Real Estate workshop. But this older gentleman, about my dad's age, I still consider my dad young because he's so active and mentally acute and all that kind of stuff. So this guy basically had 7 rental properties. And he said, I'm looking to get out of that. because I have such a tough time finding a good general contractor.
Yeah.
And I go, why is that? He goes, I don't know. They're just so hard to find. And I realized from his thinking that sometimes we need an aha moment to shift our thinking.
Yeah.
And I said, let me ask you this. Are you the kind of client that a good general contracting company would want to have? Because I said, look, I used to own a general contracting company.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is there's good clients
Yes.
that, I built a relationship with. I was for them. They were for me.
They call, you show up.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then there's always those clients that don't really want to build a relationship. It's a very antagonistic. It's if I win, you lose. It's a zero-sum game. In order for, me to make more money, you have to make less money kind of mentality. It's not long-term, like, hey, I'm going to make a little bit of money and you're going to make a little bit of money. And then it's like, I've got to make a lot of money and I'm willing to make more money on this deal and you make less money, because this one deal is all that matters.
Yeah.
And when you're that guy, I'm like, hey, forget you. I would.
So on the landscaping thing,
sure.
you spend an extra $400 on that deal.
Yeah.
So how do you stay in business when you're spending an extra $400 on landscaping?
What I realize is that over time, because I build a relationship with this guy, that I'm not having to spend my time going out and finding a new landscaper next time.
Every single time.
Every single time. I don't have to go get 3 landscapers to go out and bid my job. I don't have to go walk the property with them. I can just pick up the phone, and that's worth money to me, because while other people are micromanaging one project, we're doing 8 projects in a month.
Yeah. And I think what most people fail to realize too is that's a rounding error on that deal.
Yeah,
right?
we bought that house for in the 230s.
Yeah.
And we put like $75,000 in the rehab. So we're all in for 305-ish, something like that. And we sold it for like $415.
Okay.
So a little bit of margin.
A little bit of margin.
Little bit of margin.
So the $400 to you was a lot less. It was inconsequential compared to what it is for the landscaper.
Yes.
Right? That $400 to that landscaper, that can make his week.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But for you, it's not even on that deal. It's just a rounding error.
Yeah. I'll tell you a personal story about dinner last night.
Okay.
I had a hankering for breakfast for dinner last night.
Okay.
So I'm like, I want to do an IHOP, right?
Okay.
And I had a hankering for some pancakes.
Okay.
And I
heard they sell pancakes at IHOP.
IHOP sells, well, it's because it's IHOB. You know that they do burgers too, apparently.
Burgers.
But I like the pancakes, right? So I didn't want to actually go in and eat at IHOP. I actually wanted to go from my townhouse, pick up IHOP, bring it home, eat it there, watch the State of the Union last night, right? So first I'm like, okay, I want to do Uber Eats.
Yes.
Right? And the Uber Eats didn't have the IHOP that was closest to me. Then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll do DoorDash, right? So I get on the DoorDash app, and that IHOP that I wanted to order from was on there, but you couldn't customize the order the way that I wanted to customize the order. So then I'm like, okay, I'll call them. And for whatever reason, they had either forwarded the phone or the phone was off the hook. So now I've got to actually get in my car, go down there and I'm a little bit frustrated with the whole situation. Okay. But I've eaten there, maybe I don't eat there very often, right? And how many customers do you think IHOP has in a month?
I would assume thousands.
Thousands, right? So would you expect them to recognize you when you walk in and say, hey, man, long time no see? I literally walked in the door, and the guy said, hey, man, long time no see.
Wow.
And I said, yeah. And I said, by the way, I would have called first. I've been trying to call for about 30 minutes, but I had to come in. And sure enough, he said somebody apparently taking a phone call. And then sometimes, they'll pick it up in one place, and then they'll leave it off the hook, go pick it up someplace else, answer the question, hang it up, forget that the other one. That's apparently what happened.
Okay.
And so I order my meal, and it was like $8, right? Maybe $12, whatever the number was. And it's a pickup order, right?
Yeah.
And so it was $12, and I gave him $5 as a tip. on a $12 order, and how much service did he have to give to me?
Minimal.
Minimal.
Yeah, packing some stuff up in a bag.
But he's not having to fill up
Exactly.
my beverages over and over and over again. He's not having to come back and forth checking on
Clean
me.
the table, move
not
the plates,
Not
all
having
that
to do
stuff.
any of that. So $5 on a $12 order, as a percentage, pretty good tip.
Yes.
But I got great service when I was in there.
Yeah.
And the guy recognized me. So for $17, I build a relationship. In fact, it was really only $5 because I'm
Yeah.
paying. I get the meal.
You get the $12
so
worth of food.
for $5, I get a relationship with some guy that basically now every time. Apparently, I did it last time
Yeah.
because I kind of remember his face. But it's not whether or not I remember him. It's like, does he remember you?
Yes.
And so, do you build relationships going throughout life like that? Are you trying to? Because I recognize. Okay, so first off, I got frustrated about that I couldn't just call in, and I
Yeah.
thought, you know,
You could have went in there kicking the door in, screaming and yelling.
What I consider and again, this is not bragging or anything like that, but I realize, hey, I'm very blessed that
Yes.
I'm not working at 8:00 at night in an IHOP.
Yes.
You know, because IHOP is a breakfast place, right? So, you know, and I know they're open 24 hours and all that, and they're always busy, but it's like I'm not dealt I've made different choices in
Yes.
life, and I can't take all the credit for that, right? Because sometimes life circumstances change outside of your control, all
Absolutely.
that. So again, I'm not judging them, but I'm like, I feel so blessed that I can bless them, and it's like how little that is to do for someone else. And so are you going through life trying to build relationships?
Yes.
And if you do that, then business changes.
Yeah.
If you're only trying to
2
make
minutes.
things simple where it's a win-lose, then so again, for most people's success in life, it's not just learning how to do something. It's learning how to think differently.
Yeah.
Because I've been around very successful people in life growing up. My dad, was amazing and exposed me to very, very successful people when I was a kid growing up. I
Yeah.
didn't realize then, who these people were and all that. And, I've told the story before about going to breakfast with
Yeah.
a bunch of guys that were the movers and shakers of real estate. And so seeing how those guys built relationships with one another
Yeah.
and those kind of things. And so much of success in life is building relationships. And it's not just the X's and O's, kind of like the X's and O's of football is
Yeah.
not all that it takes to be successful.
It's more than that, for sure.
It is way more than that.
You know, we're talking about football. You can have a quarterback that knows the technical ins and outs
Correct.
of
1
the
minute.
sport,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have a relationship, if his team doesn't care about him,
Correct.
if they don't have that camaraderie,
Right.
none of that other stuff matters.
Correct.
Because they're not going to play for him the way they should play for him,
Correct.
no matter how technically savvy they are.
So, given that in mind, are you building the relationships with because you cannot do real estate by yourself.
can't.
It is a team sport. In
Yes.
fact, you can't do life by yourself.
Very
If you're
true.
if you are trying to do life by yourself, then what I can tell you is you have very, very small dreams and goals.
Yeah.
Because if you can accomplish it by yourself, if you can accomplish everything that you dream about doing all by yourself, then you have a very, very small vision for what your life is possible.
Yeah. Probably not living up to your potential.
And what I'll tell you is your circle, the average of the 5 people that you hang around with all the time
Yeah.
needs to be improved.
Yeah.
Because when you start improving the people that you hang, when I say improving, like when you start choosing that you want to make the average of the 5 people that you hang around with the most, and you take a look at how do those people think? How do they make decisions? What do they do? Like
Yeah.
those kind of things. And what's their consistent pattern of behavior? And you start saying, wait a second, if I keep thinking like they're thinking, then I'm going to keep getting their results. And am I happy with those results? So when you realize that, hey, you know what? The math of real estate is really simple. The business of real estate is really simple.
Yes.
But we complicate it where it's not easy because we're not trying to build relationships going through the business of doing real estate. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Simple versus easy. We're going to keep talking on the other side of the break.
Hey, Adrian, if you're working till 4, that's
Time is money
understandable.
in real
Not
estate.
everybody can get here during the day.
Insurance companies
We'll have
are
one next
non-responsive.
Tuesday at
You lose the
6:30
deal,
p.m.
Like that.
So you can get off by
Turn
4 and have
around
plenty of
quotes,
time
reminders,
to get over
anything
here.
that is Benchmark
You can
insurance
register for that at
The team at Benchmark
our website,
understands
rightpathrealestate.com.
They know what
Just
you
go to the
need when you
events
need it.
tab.
We're
You'll
here
see a
for
little
you.
thing that says
Are you a
workshop,
rehabber,
and it'll give you a
wholesaler,
choice between
buy and
Tuesday
hold,
and
or flipper?
Thursday.
Bundling
So
your
we'll be
properties
doing
on a single policy
one
helps save
not
time
just
and
tomorrow
money.
at noon, but we'll be
Benchmark
doing
has been
it
in
Tuesday at
business for over
6:30
2
as
years,
well.
And we insure over
So
30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark
no
about
reason
our
you shouldn't be able to
exclusive
make that.
investment package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281
Kelly, good morning.
569
Mr. Perry, good morning.
That's 281-569-4353 or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353 or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our
1
3
minute.
keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete
Wow.
the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself.
That's where he's
Fast
from.
Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Selecting a foundation company and their product for repair is a lot like a game of chance. You simply don't know what you're going to get. The foundation repair industry as a whole doesn't carry a license, nor is it regulated. However, Foundation Check utilizes professional engineers to review all of our files to give you the best foundation analysis in today's
10
market.
seconds.
Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825, or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mic is on.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. We've only got about 4 minutes left in the show. So in the last 4 minutes, what I want to talk about is at Right Path, we're building relationships with other people that want to be successful in real estate. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whether they want to be successful in wholesaling, whether they want to be successful in buy, fix, and flip, or whether they want to be successful in buy and hold, what we want to do is we want to help people achieve those goals. And you know what we recognize is that we can't teach every single body on the planet, right?
No.
But what we can tell is what I can tell you is the difference between us and a lot of other people that teach real estate. One is we're actually doing it right here in this marketplace.
Correct.
So I know that every single month people fly in from all around the country. You know, people come in from California that teach how to do real estate. People come in and teach. You know, I saw that there was an event coming in that, you know, how to do tax lien. You know, make a lot of money doing tax lien loans or doing tax auction buying and all. And that doesn't work in Texas.
It doesn't.
It works in other places. I know of a guy. I mean, I know the guy. He knows me, and I know him. I don't like what he teaches. He teaches how to buy HUD foreclosures.
Yeah.
And yes, you can buy HUD foreclosure in little bitty towns in Indianapolis or in Detroit. I mean, go do that. I mean, there is not a winning strategy to make money. I mean, I've known investors to invest in Detroit, and it's like, man, that is
good luck.
Yeah. But I see savvy investors that will move from California, literally uproot their family, move from California to Houston.
Yes.
Because Houston's one of the hottest markets in real estate.
Yes.
And when I say hot, I don't mean it's accelerating like it's appreciating 30%. Like Seattle has done that. There's been a lot of speculation with, you know, Chinese money and things like that have caused prices to rise. I don't mean hot like that. I mean that we have affordable housing here, and there's opportunity with flip houses, with wholesaling houses, and buying and holding houses. Primarily buying and holding. I mean, we're seeing people that are getting rates of returns in the 40% range, or 30% range. Or even, what if you only made the kind of rates of returns that a Warren Buffett made? I mean, only 20%.
Oh man, that must be tough.
Yeah, and people are getting those kind of rates of returns consistently. So really, really savvy. I mean, large hedge funds are coming to Houston. So why wouldn't you learn why it is that they're buying up? And so some people think, oh, well, they're overpaying, they're driving the price. No, that's not the case.
No, not at all.
Take a look at the real numbers. What they're doing is they recognize that they can buy properties that literally cash flow.
Yep.
Houston's one of the few places in America where you can buy rental properties that cash flow.
2 minutes.
Well, and still get some equity in them, right?
You can get equity. You can have equity capture. It can cash flow, which means that every month you're receiving money. It almost becomes like a gumball machine, like an arcade game that just spits out. Arcade games don't spit out $1 million a month.
They don't.
It's consistently just quarters every. And so vending machines, in fact, that's how Warren Buffett got started. I mean, he was doing vending machines,
things,
right?
yeah.
One of his things early on. And so if you've ever studied how people get started, it's like, what kind of cash flow can you make? There's good money in vending machines.
Absolutely.
Right. And so a rental property can be like a vending machine. How many vending machines would you want? I mean, if it spit out $300 a month every month, so every single house that you bought spit out $300 a month, $3,600 a year. Do you realize that if I have $100,000 and I stick it in a CD, it does not spit out $3,600 a year in interest?
Matter of fact, at the end of the year, it's worth less than it was the year before.
That's exactly right. So imagine if you had $100,000 and it spit out $3,600 a year, and it grew in value as well.
Yeah, and I mean, take it even further. You leverage that $100,000, and now it's spitting out $15,000 a year.
Yes.
15 to 18.
Yes.
Passively.
Correct.
Right. So
Correct.
how many of those do you need before you have enough covering your
30
outflow
Right.
that you don't have to get up and go anywhere you don't want to go tomorrow?
So the next step, if you want to find out more, if we've tickled your interest, all you need to do is go to rightpathrealestate.com.
20.
Rightpathrealestate.com. Register for our Wealth Through Real Estate workshop. We're doing one tomorrow at 12 noon for all the people that work in the Energy Corridor area, or
10.
you're off during the lunchtime on Thursdays, or next Tuesday at 6:30. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow with Build Your Team Thursday. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a
Y'all be
blessed
good.
day. Bye-bye.